Hi, welcome to the Divine Insight Show. Thank you so much for joining us wherever and whenever you're doing so. It's no accident that you're here, and I'm so thrilled to introduce you today to this week's guest, Mabel Katz, who is the world's most famous personal growth leader and teacher that you might not have heard of. And that's because she's a superstar in over 40 countries, but is largely unheralded in North America, even though she lives here. She's been a star in the LA Latino community and has hosted the popular radio and television program Despertar, which means the awakening, and her show where she empowered the Latinos community here in LA by giving them the tools to start and grow their own businesses, to have happy relationships and financial success. And she's here with me today to talk about her most recent book, Zero Frequency, the easiest way to peace, happiness, and abundance. Mabel, thank you so much for joining me and welcome to the show.
Thank you for this opportunity, Travis. It's great to be here with you. You know, before you start with any questions, I had that awakening show in Spanish, Despertar, in 2003. Can you believe I've been asking people to wake up since 2003? I've been telling people it's time to wake up. And I'm still telling them the same thing.
You know, that's funny. I had my own spiritual awakening beginning in 2006. And then later in 2009, when I did energy medicine, I took a Reiki class, and over time have worked with clients all over the world in touching their soul center and learning how to get beyond those limited reactions or limited thinking that we might have, which is why I'm so excited to talk to you about your incredible work. And so just, you're welcome. And just by way of, and it's interesting because I just moved down to Los Angeles last year.
Wow.
I used to live in Seattle for 20 years and was led here by Spirit. I knew that I was going to move about a year before I knew where. And
we need more light in Los Angeles, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Even though it's sunny here all the time, we still need more light in the dark
areas. The other
areas.
light, the divine light.
That's right. So let's talk a little bit about, I'd love to learn more about your personal journey and how it is that you began to do this work.
Well, actually, I had an awakening. It wasn't like, I didn't see the light or anything. Actually, my oldest son woke me up when he talked to me the way I used to talk to him, angry, frustrated. And I saw myself, he was like a mirror. And I said, Mabel, you have to do something, because I realized, I pass on that to him. And I said, I know how that feels. So at that moment, I realized I was looking for happiness in the wrong places, because I had everything somebody needs to be happy, and I wasn't. So I started my search, and as soon as I made that decision, a lot of different things show up in my life. A metaphysical book that a friend of mine gave me. I went to an anger class, and the guy was a metaphysical teacher. I started going to yoga classes, and we did visualizations, and I would manifest it the same day. So I started wondering, if we were so powerful that whatever we thought we could attract or create. And that's how everything started. But I also was looking for an easier and faster way, because maybe my personality type. And I said, no, there has to be an easier and faster way. I saw a lot of drama, a lot of blaming, somebody for your problems. And I thought there has to be an easier way. And I found it in Oponopono, this ancient Hawaiian art of problem solving.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so if you mind sharing, what was that book that you mentioned? Do you remember what that was?
Well, it was a Spanish, it was Connie Mendez, but I'm sure her books are translated, and it's called 4-in-1. It was like 4 books in one. And she used to give us these recipes, she called it, about how to find a parking spot, how to think about it. And, it's like when you start, sometimes I say affirmation is like, first grade, you start using certain tools, you start seeing your power, but one day you have to graduate and just be yourself. and suddenly everything just comes.
Yeah, it's so true. And, we learn those lessons that we need to see in order to grow as a soul, is what a lot of what I share about in my work. And um, can you share a little bit about I think that some people might be familiar with the Opono, I think I said it right, Oponopono. There we go. Could you share a little bit about what that means and how that's been incorporated into your work?
Yes, the word Ho'oponopono means how to make it right or how to correct an error. And it's basically that everything in our life is just errors. It's the computer, the monitor in our computer showing us the programs that are inside our subconscious mind, and those are the ones creating and those are the ones attracting. So that in life you have only two choices. Yes, you can keep talking to the monitor, but the monitor cannot do anything, or you press the delete key. So Ho'oponopono is that delete key. So, oh, that's in me, I'm sorry, but like little children, yeah, we are not guilty, we are not sinners, we are not bad people, but we are responsible that if you don't like what you are attracting in your life, you can change it. It's not about changing people out there, or changing things outside of yourself for you to be happy. It is about 100% responsibility. What is it in me that is attracting this? But what I love about Ho'oponopono is you don't need to know what, you just need to know that there is something inside of you, but you don't need to analyze, or anything. You just need to let go and allow a part of you that knows better to erase, to transmute.
Yeah, thank you. And I'd love to find that reset button. I think I know that's somewhere in my body too.
Yes.
And I'm really curious because I know this happens so frequently with people, as you very much so eloquently described, is that we often give our power away by taking on a victim mentality and consistently uh, framing our experiences as happening to us,
Yes.
and very much saying things about why is this happening to me, why all of this sort of victim narrative.
Yes.
Why do you think people can feel so stuck in that perspective and have such difficulty getting out of it?
I think it's an addiction, Travis. I think we are addicted to see ourselves as victims. We are addicted to blaming and complaining because that's kind of accepted. Yes, that's what everybody does. So must be okay. What we don't realize is that if we don't change, nothing changes. That we keep replaying and we keep complaining. But if we don't change, yes, so if we don't take responsibility, if we don't erase it in us, it will not get erased out there, or others. Or again, we have common memory. So everybody that comes into your life is giving you actually an opportunity, to erase, to pay debts, yes, to set yourself free. But again, because we keep blaming and complaining, there is something that I read, something that Osho said that I think it's wonderful. He says, why we don't let go of what makes us miserable. And he says, because if you let go of what makes you miserable, you have to let go of the benefit. So I know that consciously you don't do it for a benefit. You don't think there is a benefit. But I'm going to give you one example that is very strong. In my zero frequency trainings, we do some processes, and after we did the process, a woman raised her hand and she said, Mabel, I'm not gonna play cancer anymore because I'm sure my kids will call me even if I don't have cancer. You understand what I mean? Sometimes it's not like you do it consciously. Okay, I'm gonna get very sick, so my kids will call me or take care of me, or they give me, their attention, or something. I know it's not conscious, but unconsciously we do. I think we are all 2-year-olds, the troublemakers, the temper tantrums, I think we got stuck in the twos. and we think that everything that you want or something, you have to, scream or cry or being a victim or things like that to get what you want. And now we are adults and we need to realize we don't have to do that. And you just have to be yourself. And yes, there are people that will like it and people that won't. But as long as you like yourself.
I think that's really
Did I lose you?
powerful. Just for a quick moment, but
Okay.
that's okay. I think we understood. I heard you, and I think that's such a wonderful thing to I kind of think of ourselves in the same way, that I think we all incarnate into the third dimensional Earth school because we can be somewhat stubborn, and we are somewhat like children, where we might need to bounce off a few walls before we realize there's a door there, or perhaps we could even open it first before walking into it,
Yeah.
but we don't often, and we
Well,
can,
well,
I
you
think
know the
in some
story
ways,
of the elephant.
yeah,
You know the story of the elephants, yes? That they put a chain when
no,
they are
no,
little. Oh, they put a chain in one of their legs, okay? So in the beginning they try and they cannot get rid of, yeah? They cannot set free. Now they are huge animals, and because they have that chain, they think they cannot go.
wow.
You understand?
So it's
So,
it's part of their muscle memory and their belief system.
so you understand? It's just that beliefs that we have. I can, I cannot. Life is fair, life is unfair. I am a victim. I have bad luck, and think I don't have what it takes. So definitely, it always comes back to us.
Yeah, and so can you talk a little bit about what the zero frequency is, and how you developed it?
Yes. Okay. So I'm still a very intellectual person. I come from the business world. I have 2 university titles in Argentina, where I'm from, CPA and license in business administration. Here in the United States, I had specialized in taxes. So again, I can understand intellects. Yes, I've been
Right.
there too long. And you are who you are. You change, but the foundation's still there. So my intellect still works very well. And when I present the Ho'oponopono, I understand that it's very esoteric, very like, no, this is too easy, people,
Yeah,
the
kind of
intellect will
woo-woo-y.
disregard. Yeah, it's strange, too simple, well, etc. So zero frequency gave me the possibility to give the intellect experiences about 100% responsibility. Oh, maybe there is something inside of me. Yeah, because the process starts by the intellect. We have to convince the intellect to let go, because the intellect is the one that has the free choice. Okay, so it gives me the opportunity to share with people processes, things, information that help me to live more conscious, to make conscious decisions, to live more in the present, etc., etc. Ho'oponopono, I presented as much as I can, the way I got it from my teacher, Dr. Ihaliakala. And I do just a one-day training. The second day, it gives me the opportunity to talk to intellects. I always tell people, even in the Ho'oponopono trainings, they can live, because actually the information is for the subconscious mind, yes? And the subconscious mind never sleeps. So Sunday is a completely different training, we even dance, and we work in groups and things like that. And for me also, it was very, very important to help people to find their purpose, to connect with their passion, because I stumbled with my passion. I was not in any way um, planning to let go of my career. My career was it is a very profitable. I was already working part-time. It didn't even make sense to let go of my profession. But because I started letting go, and because I started trusting so much, I allowed the universe, to guide me. And I cannot stumble with my passion. I mean, because definitely I always ask people, what would you do even if you don't get paid because you love it? Yes. And that's
Yes.
kind of your compass. What is it that you would do even if you don't get paid? And not like I have to go to find a job, or how, somebody told me that I was good with numbers, I should be an accountant. And I say, oh, good idea. Sometimes I tell young people, I love to work with young people, and I said, who in the world thought that at 17 or 18 you could know what you want to do in your life and choose a profession when you are 17, 18, when you are just starting your life? Yes.
Yeah, and there's so much pressure on kids, I say kids, nowadays, to really to know their path, because so many certifications and degrees, you know, you have to know at an early age, and it's so competitive, and you know, you could be mid 30s before you realize you're completely unhappy in your career. And that's why I was so encouraged and excited to see the work that you do. And yes, to the intellect it might seem so easy, but it really is about finding the calling that makes your soul sing. Because when you're able to do that, you bring more happiness and joy and freedom to your life and your experience.
You know, in Mexico, a young lady raised her hand and she says, you know, Mabel, I'm finishing my high school, but I don't know what I want to do. And I look at her and I said, your mother will not like my answer. But the mother was the mother was there. So I asked permission. I said, could I respond to her? And she said, sure. And I said, go and travel the world. When you come back, you will know. Go and travel the world. I mean, you know yourself, know people, you know, get to know cultures, observe, you know, but I mean, there is no way we could know what we want to be, you know, or what we really love, or what are our passions. So a lot of people are very unhappy wherever they are. They are not really following their passion. They are working for the money, and that's what makes it hard, because money follows love. When you do what you love, you don't have to worry, because the money will come.
Well, it's so interesting because, you know, you talk about the intellect and the thinker that we have. Our brain likes to have answers, wants to know answers, because we're afraid of uncertainty. But when it comes to like the intuition that we try to develop in ourselves, which allows us, as you have done in your life, to trust the universe to bring what you need into your life, that's a very unintellectual process, which we can have a lot of fear around. But if we tell the intellect, it's okay not to know. And I tell people when I do intuition workshops and teach people about intuition, you know, not knowing is an answer. It's a no. It's okay to not know, because if you don't know, you haven't experienced what it is that you need to have information wise, which I love that.
You know, sometimes people ask me things and I start my response by saying, I don't know. You know, I just want you to know, I don't know anything. Yes. And people usually laugh, but because we are so used to that, if you don't know, you make it up, you know, because you have to say something, or, you know, or something. But if the reality, Travis, is that we do not know, we don't know, you know, because as soon as you put things in words, it's not. Yes.
Yeah.
So the idea of not knowing, that's why I understand that there are a lot of people under a lot of stress right now because of uncertainty, because of, you know, lack of stability. I mean, a lot of things, you know, that are, but you have to know that if you let go and you trust, so many blessings can come into your life. And that's kind of what happened to me. I stopped planning. You know, a lot of people ask me, how come you went from here to here? I mean, because it's really the extremes somehow. Yes. Yes. Right. At one point I went to the extreme because I felt so happy for the first time in my life when I found spirituality. And there wasn't enough weekends for me to go to all the seminars I wanted to go and learn and hear about it. But then guess what? I had to find the middle. Yes, I had to find that middle path that Buddha used to talk about, because extremes are never good. Yes, so it's not good to be too intellectual, and it's not good to be too spiritual, because now we are here. Yes, so finding that balance is what I call zero frequency. How you apply these esoteric different concepts, you know, and things to real life. And yes, and you know what convinced me? Being an accountant and practicing Oponopono and seeing the results and seeing how I started my own practice when I always work as an employee for CPA offices. And suddenly, because of Oponopono, I let go and trust, and I start my own practice. Now I can travel with my teacher whenever I want because I'm independent. Yes, so I always say God knows better what we need and what is right for us. So I learned not to plan. I learned not to set goals. I learned to be a child again, and I love it.
It's very funny. And as you were talking about what, you know, the Buddha talking about you know, the extremes. I'm remembering that quote that just kind of blew my mind. You know, when you see those quotes that just
Yes.
like they sink
Wow.
you in the way that you need to hear in that moment. I remember seeing one that said, even moderation in moderation. And I was like,
It's,
whoa, that's so true. You know, take
yes.
life in moderation. And with your work around zero frequency, can you talk a little bit about how it works?
Yes. So the idea is, well, let's put, first I'm going to talk to you about Ho'oponopono and how I apply zero frequency, because all my work is always based on Ho'oponopono. That is the only thing I practice myself. So Ho'oponopono says, okay, ways to press the delete key. Yes, just say thank you. Just say I love you. A lot of people know Ho'oponopono for the four phrases. That's another way. Say light switch, you know, turn on the light, because the problem is that the uh, there is no light. Yes, so you bring the light into the situation. I use a lot of I let go and trust, or with money I use I'm not gonna worry, and the money always comes when I need it. You understand, or sometimes
Mm-hmm.
more, because as when you worry and you think, you stop everything. You are not in the flow. You don't have any help, you know, and you are just stuck, you know, here with your thinking and your worry, and nothing gets resolved. Yes, and also you are hurting yourself. Okay, so zero frequency gives me the possibility, like I said, to show processes. And in the book that I wrote, I give you how to connect to zero in every chapter, in almost every chapter, where I'll give you ideas of things. So there are things that will work for everybody, you know, because sometimes it's, for example, how you come back to present. When you find yourself so stuck, get up and dance, you know, breathe, you know, take a deep breath. Yes, go and hug a tree. You know, there are so many things that could bring you to present. And if you are present, you don't have problems. You know, things are gonna get resolved and you are just yourself. The other thing is how to be yourself, how to let go of what other people think of you know, looking for acceptance outside of yourself or things like that. So things that can help you to change the conversation, because it's all about our own stories and our own conversations in here. So how to become more conscious so that you can make conscious decisions, and you are stopping to allow your programs to keep replaying and choosing for you. If they will keep choosing the same thing, you will keep replaying. Yes. So like I
Yes.
said before, 100% responsibility. If you don't change, nothing will change. If you are waiting for something to change out there, you'll miss the train.
You know, it might be kind of an obvious question or obvious answer to the question, given what you just described, and the fact that, you know, I think about what's going on in the world now from a sense of why did all of our souls bring together this opportunity for the global pandemic to happen, where the
Oh,
entire world has been
yeah.
placed on pause. And so I'm interested in, why do you think it's so important for people to understand what you're talking about in your book right now? So the question ultimately is, why is it so important for you to share your work right now?
You know, I thank you for the question. You know, one thing that I want to share with you is that I've been trying to write this book for 10 years. And it was actually, and everything happened to me because I understand I was ahead of my time, always. So, no, I'm telling you, 2003, I was telling people, wake up. So, and maybe they didn't even know what I meant. So, last year, it finally got finished. The last manuscript, it was ready July 2019, but I don't publish the book till July of 2020. And when I'm making the recording, I go to a studio to record, I couldn't believe what I put in that book because, yeah, I've been writing it for many years. So suddenly I see the word pandemic. But I talk about a pandemic of love and peace that can heal anything. Yes. And I talk
Mm,
about changing humanity. And I'm talking about homeschooling and all the stuff that, I mean, they are all the things that we are dealing right now. So that
yeah.
book is definitely for these times. It has a lot of different ways to connect to zero, to give you that peace in that moment that you don't know where to run. I actually recorded like 10 videos that they are complementary to the book, you know, to also, you know, kind of push you, you know, and give you that push that sometimes we need. I think this is our opportunity. Everything that we've been looking for is in the spirituality. You're not gonna find any answers anywhere else. I don't mind what philosophy, what culture, what technique, what processes, what tools, but everything is in spirituality. And unfortunately, we were going the wrong way. Yes, everybody was with their phone, happy that their phone now can do this and can do that, and we were lost. So I think that even though maybe there is something that is not so good about everything that is happening, there are a lot of blessings around, behind, wherever you want to see it, it's an unbelievable opportunity for us to ascend, to create a new earth, to really come together, unite, stop criticizing ourselves and others, you know, having opinions and judgments about ourselves and others. I think it's an incredible opportunity to learn. But if you are willing to look inside, yes, it is it is the only way. That's why some people are having a hard time, yes, because they are engaging with the news, buying that, you know, buying the fear and things like that. And the only way you are going to find peace, and the only way you are going to be able not to engage with the fear and create your own reality in this craziness, it is going inside. And some people are afraid, you know, to go inside. Or sometimes, well, maybe they don't know how.
I think much like we were talking about very early on in the show, this idea that someone other than ourselves is now telling us, you must stay home, you know, and be at home. I mean, I think a lot of people took some transition time to accept that, but I also 100% agree that so many people have been in some ways forced, but also with self-reflection, to allow themselves to see who they really are, what they really value, who do they really love, what do they really want to do. Are they really in love with the person that they're living with? Because now they have to be stuck together for this amount of time together. So I think, you know, there are so many blessings, as you've described, in being able to have some self-reflection, which I think is also so important about the tools that you provide in your book, which I think are so helpful. And as you might have intimated earlier, some people who are super intellectual might think, oh, this is too simple. But I think we can overcomplicate getting outside the door at times. So I think it's important to allow yourself to like.
I always said God is easy. we are very complicated. But yes, I mean, I never sold Ho'oponopono like convincing people. I mean, I call Ho'oponopono the easiest way. I said I found the easiest way to work on the subconscious mind, you know, but there are other ways. And but the important thing is, I always tell people, wake up, do something, you know, and stop blaming or complaining or waiting for something to change out there. It will never change unless you change. And we have the responsibility right now, because whatever we decide is not only for ourselves, you know, it's for the future of this planet right now, you know, for our next future generations. I mean, it's so important, the decisions, you know, but again, you know, we all have free choice.
Yeah, and so I want to thank you so much for the incredible wisdom and insight that you share, and as well your incredible book, Zero Frequency. As we get close to the close of the show, is there anything else that you'd like to share about your work or the book that we haven't already talked about?
No, I think that the most important things that it helped me to make the change is, for example, to forgive, because otherwise I would hurt myself, you know, keeping myself in the past, living in the past. We don't realize that not forgiving, you know, again, is hurting ourselves, not the other person. What you think about yourself is important, not what other people think of you. Be yourself. For me, that is the best advice that I got from my teacher when I realized I was going to teach. And I said, hey, I have to take classes. And he said, no, 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 that will take all your naturality. All you have to be is yourself. So trust yourself, believe in yourself. That's basic. And you have everything you need inside yourself. Anything, whatever change you want to do, everything that you need is inside of you. For me, those are the basic things that help me, to make the change. So, and I know they work for everybody.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful and honored to have you here with me today.
Thank you.
How can folks get your book and learn more about you or take some of your classes?
Well, they can go to mabelkatz.com/store, and we have it available, but also in Amazon. And I do have a zerofrequency.com page /book. You can find out more about the book too. And well, I am in Instagram as Mabel Katz, Twitter the same, Facebook is Mabel Katz fan page. So I'm sure if you Google me, you will find me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Again, it's been an absolute pleasure and honor to have you with us today. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you all for watching and listening. It's been a wonderful time, and I hope you take great care of yourself today.